All right. I hope you guys can see the screen.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Right. So we have a motto called Choose France. It's a motto that Campus France across the world has. And it also indicates that France is welcoming, has opened all its gates to international students. So international, it's also a very favorable student destination. You'll come to know why I'm telling you all these things later on. Firstly, I would like to share this picture with you. Some of us might know the gentleman in white shirt. He is the current president of Republic of France, Mr. Emmanuel Macron. This picture was taken back in 2018 when a batch of students were going to France from New Delhi. So we do hold pre-departure sessions and all. So this was a snap taken during the pre-departure session 2018. He was on an official visit to India. Firstly, I would like to tell you, what do you guys imagine? Prachi, you can also contribute here. What do you guys imagine if when you hear the word France or when you hear about France? What's the first thing that comes in mind?
If I were to answer, I would say a lot of, say, museums, art, and
Uh,
I'm
yeah. So I think that is a unique answer because mostly I get an answer which is like in a reflex. Um, they say Eiffel Tower. Yeah. So it is one of the known and famous engineering marvels in the world. But France is more than Eiffel Tower. France is more than Paris. France is known for various other things as well. As Prachi rightly pointed out, museums. It's a country with over 3,000 museums. Yeah, and it's a country which has a wide range of fashion sector. So it is known for its fashion. It's a country which is most visited in the world. So, a lot of tourism happens here in France, and it is located in the heart of Europe. Um, and other European countries can be easily accessible through France. Other than that, there are a few other things that France is known for, like its architecture, like its champagne, wines. Um, it's known for its aeronautical studies and aeronautical achievements. You might have heard about names like Airbus and Dassault systems. So they come from France, actually. Um, and other than that, France is known for its vivid culture as well, and for its gastronomy. Um, so Prachi already introduced Campus France. We are a government agency that operates under the French Ministry of External Affairs. We do help students from, right from the time when they start looking for courses, looking for institutes, till the time they finish their visa process. And even after that, once they reach France, what are the administrative procedures that they need to go through? You can call us your doorway to France. And so we help you throughout the visa process, which generally is very chaotic, and a lot of students become sort of nervous, and they have a lot of things to do at the same time, so they just cannot ensure that everything is in place, and things documents are in a proper order or not. So we help you through with that. Yeah. We also conduct workshops such as CV and SOP workshop. So it's a general workshop. So those students or working professionals who would like to enhance their CV and SOP making skills, they do join these workshops. These are like 2.5 hour workshop, which our experts they conduct these workshops. It's a slight video. I hope you could hear this. This is a short message by French President Emmanuel Macron when he was on visit to India in 2018. So this is what he had to say.
I'm finishing my trip in India. We are now in Benares before leaving and flying back to Paris. I just wanted to thank you. Thank you, India. Thanks for these 3 days in Delhi, in Taj Mahal, and today in Benares. We spent with my wife 3 marvelous days. And I wanted to thank you, Prime Minister Modi, for the very warm welcome. We worked very hard. We decided strategic partnership, new decisions from security, economic, energy and environment point of view. We launched the International Solar Alliance, which is a very great achievement at this stage, but the beginning of new achievements. And I discovered India, I have to say. I want to tell you how emotional it was for me to be with you during these 3 days, to spend hours with young people in Delhi, and to be with you in Benares today. So thank you, India. And I just wanted to convey a last message. Choose France. Young people, young students, entrepreneurs, academics, researchers, Indian leaders, choose France. You're very, very much welcome. And I will be very proud to make my country the entry point for you in Europe and to be the long-term strategic partner for you. Thank you, India, and choose France. Bye-bye.
Yeah. So thank you everyone for listening to the short message by the French president. So in this message, he has clearly emphasized that he wants to make France an entry point to India. And mobility of Indian students to France is tops their agenda. Let's say in 2008, we had merely 100 students going to France. And over the period of time in 2020, we have over 10,000 students going to France now, with over 1,600 programs fully taught in English. Um, Talking about Franco-Indian collaborations, which is at an all-time high right now, we do have more than 500 French companies operating in India. Some of them you might know, companies like Renault, Saint-Gobain, Capgemini, Ubisoft, or Alcatel-Lucent, Louis Vuitton. So these are a few companies, French companies operating in India. And apart from that, we have different collaborations at different sectors. The reason I'm mentioning this is it has to do with mobility and employability of students, both sides, both in India and in France. Also, there was a remarkable agreement that was signed on 1st of May in 2018 um, between India and France. It's a mutual recognition of our academic degrees. So let's say from 12th standard to PhD, the Indian degrees that are conferred by, you know, Indian universities would be recognized by the French authorities and vice versa. So India has never signed such an accord with any other country yet. And, it actually eases down a lot of things because most of the times the foreign degrees don't cross over well in India. So you are often being asked to produce an equivalent or to give an examination sort of thing, or to do another, a secondary course of 6 months or 1 year to prove the equivalence of the degree that you're holding from abroad. So that won't happen in this case. We have an agreement in place. You can read the agreement on Ministry of Human Resource Development, Government of India's website. I would also like to show you a brief introduction about the education ladder, both in India and in France. There's a slight difference in the ladder. We do have bachelors of 4 years, and some, in case of architecture, 5 years, versus France has 3 years of bachelor's, which is called as licence. And India has 2 years of masters. France also has 2 years of masters. The doctorate program is stretched out to 3 years and not 5 years in France. Compared to in India, we have a 5-year PhD program, which also includes MPhil as of now. Yeah. All right. So talking about the benefits that an Indian student can get in France, there are quite a few, but I would like to start with top ranked institutes, especially for management and engineering students. We have a consortium called Consortium of Grande École. These are a bunch of institutes which are labeled as Grande École. Grande École, if I translate it into English, it becomes big schools. So these schools are labeled as Grande École, and they are highly reputed because their curriculum is regularly updated as per the industry. They have a lot of visiting faculties from the industry coming and sharing the curriculum. Um, so these Grande Écoles are highly looked upon. Yeah. And mainly they are triple accredited as well. If you know about the 3 accreditations like AACSB, AMBA, EQUIS. So these are very few institutes in the world have triple accreditations, and surprisingly, France has a bunch of them. Doctoral research degrees, there are a lot of research options available as well after your master's if you wish to do your research programs. I mean, it's a country that invests 7% of its GDP on education and research. So, you can explore a wide world of possibilities of doing PhD and postdoc programs. There are multiple funding options available as well. Which reminds me that we are going to do a PhD tour, a PhD virtual tour, which starts tomorrow, by the way, and goes on till 25th. So these would be a series of webinars on different thematics like management or economy, engineering, artificial intelligence. So there are different topics. So if you're interested to explore what could be the options available for pursuing PhD and research in France, you can attend these sessions for sure. Apart from that, France is known for its art and design studies. We are, schools like CEPT University and NID in India, they send students regularly to some of the finest art and design schools and architecture schools in France. Yeah. We do have public universities. Public universities is a good, has become a good attraction to Indian students because the fee structure is extremely low. So the fee structure is as good as 2,770 euros per year for bachelor students, and for master students it's 3,770 euros per year. So, and also they have lately introduced a lot of courses which are fully taught in English. Yeah, something which could be very ideal for an Indian student. Apart from this, France is known for its business and management schools. There are quite few good business and management schools in France, which are worth exploring. It's also known for pioneering MSc programs. So MSc programs are Master of Science programs in specific specializations. It's not a science-based program, but it's a management program. So you can find an MSc in multiple specializations such as corporate finance, international marketing, digital marketing, or supply chain management, or let's say lean operations management. So these are short courses of ranging from 12 months to 18 months. And they actually provide you with a master's degree with 90 ECTS credits, right? These are not postgraduate diplomas. These are master degrees conferred by France. Yeah. Other than that, we have a bunch of good engineering schools. As you know, few fields of engineering like aeronautics, aerospace, mechatronics, electronics, AI. These are some fields where France has an upper hand in Europe, and we have some of the finest institutes uh, on these fields. We have good schools of architecture as well. So let's say there is a chain of institutes called ENSA, École Nationale Supérieure d'Architecture. There are 20 ENSAs across France, and they offer undergraduate and graduate level programs in architecture, urban planning, and related fields. Um, there are few benefits that you can get being a student in France. First and foremost thing is that France has a motto. One of their mottos is equality. So they do not generally differentiate between two students, whether the student is a local student or an international student. Hence, if you look at the fee structure, it's more or less the same. Yeah. Compared to other countries where you will see a vast difference between the fee structure of for an international student and for a local student, you would not find that discriminating difference in France. Moreover, tuition fees are heavily subsidized. As I told you earlier, that the country invests 7% of its GDP on education and research, which is pretty huge. So these tuition fees are highly subsidized, which would suit your pockets, right? Not just that, there are few subsidies that the French government provides to all the students. One such subsidy is called CAF, which is a housing subsidy. So whatever rent that you're going to incur in France, up to 30% of that would be reimbursed back to you. Yeah, you can choose a monthly or half yearly option to get the reimbursements. And yes, it's true, it's a subsidy and everybody gets it. Apart from that, there is a network of a housing support network called CROUS, CROUS, across France. This network is known to provide, subsidized housing to students. However, the demand is quite high and the supply is limited. We insist that the students apply to CROUS well in advance, and we do help you out with the process. And good thing about cruise is, they give subsidized housing. So compared to the market rates, the rent is heavily subsidized with cruise. Yeah. And yes, you can work part-time while studying. You can work 19.5 hours a week and earn like 8 to 10 euros per hour while you're studying in France, provided it doesn't hamper your curriculum, it doesn't hamper your university studies. And the subsidies don't end there. There are endless subsidies available on public transport. So ideally, you can get a discount. Being an international student, you can get a discount of 50% on local and national transport. And it's a country with a lot of museums and libraries. So you get hefty discounts on museums and library entries and memberships, and also hefty student discounts on cultural activities as well, right? So students generally prefer saving money while they are studying. So these benefits help them save good amount of money while they are studying, right? And one more thing I would like to add is the part-time jobs that the students take up generally indicate that the student needs to learn basic French, because these are jobs which would want them to interact with local people there who speak French predominantly. So, it's advisable that the students speak basic French, they learn basic French. And most of the universities and institutes in France, they offer French language courses. These could be part of the curriculum or could be an additional subject which the students take up. Yeah. This is just a brief comparison of cost that you could incur in France versus other countries. Yeah. So when it comes to applying to French university, there are prominently two kinds of institutes: um, public universities, public institutes, and private institutes. So in order to apply to private institutes, students generally apply to the start their application process through the institute's website. They fill up the application form. If there is an application fees, they pay that. And they start the process with the institute directly. Versus uh, public university admissions are taken care of through Campus France. So the student has to apply through us in order to apply to public universities. It is mandatory. So here we provide them with an add to cart facility where bachelor level students can opt up to 3 courses. They can add 3 courses to the cart, and master level students can add like 7 courses to the cart. And then there is an interview process that they go through, post which the universities, they start responding to the students demand. The student's application is reviewed, and then if you have multiple positive responses, ball is in your court. You can choose the best one to go for. Okay. One more thing which I would like to point out is the admission process in France is pretty flexible. We do not have minimum marks. We do not, go after minimum IELTS bands, things like that, because our admission process and visa process is based on interviews. So usually a student has to go through a couple of interviews, one for admission and the other one for visa process. So during these interviews, we come to know about the student's strengths. And let's say if a student has scored 5.5 in IELTS, but then during the interview process, we realize that the student is comfortable in English and can articulate well in English, and he's completely okay with as far as his English skills are concerned. So we do not have any issues with that, right? Moreover, we also accept MOI letters from your institutes where you have graduated from, or let's say 12 standard English medium mark sheets. We also accept these documents as your English proficiency proof. So yeah, in a nutshell, these are the steps which you can go through when you're applying to public universities or private institutes as well. You create your profile on the Campus France website. You upload your your academic documents, your CV, your passport documents as well. You can choose up to 7 programs. This is true for students going for master programs, and students going for bachelors can choose up to 3 programs. There is a processing fees of 16,500 that you have to pay before your interview is scheduled, and thereafter your interview is scheduled with the nearest Campus France office. Coming to scholarships, we offer a bunch of scholarships provided by the French government. Some of them are co-financed, some of them are offered by the French schools themselves. So one of our flagship scholarship is called Charpak Scholarship, wherein the awardee gets 700 euros per month, up to 5,000 euros of tuition fees waiver, and the visa fees, the processing fees, these fees gets waived off as well. It's pretty lucrative. Again, we have a very flexible approach here. We do not have minimum caps for scholarship eligibility. It is more like, it depends on your SOP, on your study project that you share with us, on the letter of recommendations that you submit. So we generally tend to see your profile holistically and then pick our awardees. Other than that, we do have Franco-Indian Education Trust, which has an array of co-financed scholarships for, let's say, female candidates only, which are remunerated with, they are remunerated with their monthly expenses. Their monthly expenses are taken care of. Then we have a special scholarship with the French company called Legrand, where we offer scholarships to those students whose family income is less than 10 lakh rupees annually. So they are eligible to apply for that scholarship, and they can get remunerated monthly with that scholarship. Apart from that, those students who are interested in fine arts or other domains of art studies or music, as a matter of fact, we have special scholarships for them as well. And there are a bunch of institutes that provide their own scholarships. So the list is endless, right? Yeah, so I just briefly shared the Charpak scholarship options that I spoke about. We do have different variants in Charpak scholarship. There is a master variant, there is an exchange variant, there is a lab variant for postdoc students. Yeah. Now, this is a very important topic: internships in France. Now, France has an education system which is very practical in nature. Um, so they emphasize on practical studies a lot. So you will find bachelor courses which has one or two internships towards the third year. Some have internships every year in bachelor's. And in masters, it's hard to find a course which comes without an internship. So you will find 4 to 6 months of mandatory internship in master courses for sure. Over 95% of the courses would carry these mandatory internships. That means that you have to complete your internship in order to complete your degree. Yeah, and internships in France are slightly different. It doesn't mean that you will have to watch somebody else work. It means that you will have to involve yourself in live projects. You will have to contribute uh, to ongoing projects of the company, which also increases your chances of employability thereafter. There are cases where students get employed right after their internship by the company where they were interning. And one interesting point is that internships are always paid in France. There is no concept of free internships. There's a law in place to pay interns. The minimum wage that you're seeing on screen of 436 euros has been revised this year to 554 euros per month. Yeah. Um, but there is a mantra to get internships and jobs. The more knowledge of French, the more possibilities of getting good jobs and internships. We insist that the student see, it's not an academic requirement because you have chosen a course. Most of the students choose a course taught in English, entirely in English. So French is not an academic requirement, but it is a necessity. So we insist that students learn basic French here. I would tell you how it's possible and what are the in-depth benefits of learning French later on. Yeah, but it does increase the possibility of conversion of internship into a job as well. It plays a very vital role. Yeah, so many students do not want to settle down in France. They want to come back to India as well. There are some family these things. So some students would want to come back to India. They want to start their own business and things like that. So for them, let me tell you, there are a lot of French companies operating in India through the Business France segment of French Embassy in India, as well as we have Indo-French Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Why I'm mentioning this is because they often recruit people for their important positions, and they prefer hiring students who have studied in France and who knows the Indian scenario as well. So currently we have over 300,000 skilled workers employed in French companies across India and rising. Um, there are a few companies that you can see on the screen like Decathlon, L'Oreal, Michelin, where students are being recruited after their studies in France. And we do conduct job fairs every year. We conduct job fairs every year in February in New Delhi, where a lot of alumni from France, they come down and they get recruited by these French companies in India. And there is another thing that just there is one more thing that we have an alumni network across 124 countries with over 300,000 alumni on board. So it works as our version of LinkedIn, where students can join this network right from day one when they start their course in France. They get introduced to like-minded alumni or alumnus. They come to know about the industry while they are studying. They are not just merely studying their course. They are preparing for the industry. So it's very important to connect with like-minded alumni or alumnus, and it also gives them an insight about the job scenario in the industry that they want to enter. These are a few testimonials of our students who have done. These are, I think, management students. Yeah. Yeah. So talking about French language, I did give you one reason, one benefit why French language is important. So right from day one, when you reach the airport, if you have learned basic French, uh, you would see that the country is welcoming. A lot of people are ready to help you. You're putting efforts to learn their language, so which is clearly a very good effort that you're putting from your side, being an international student. And those students who want to seek part-time jobs and good internships later on, I insist that you learn basic French, a little bit of French beforehand, and also continue learning French once you reach there alongside your studies. Most of the institutes would provide you means with that. um, a long-term benefit is that it is a language which is not just spoken in France, it is a global language. So it is spoken across a number of countries in the world, making French the third most used business language in the world. So if it definitely in the long run, it brings a good value to your CV. Um, and now the question is, how would you learn French? So we have a network of Alliance Française across India and across the world. It's Indo-French Cultural and Linguistic Center, uh, recognized by the French embassy, embassies across the world. In India, we have 15 centers, 15 main centers, one being in Ahmedabad. The branches are there in Baroda and Surat as well. So currently they are providing online courses across. Those students who are interested, they can join. Yeah, so just giving you an example, they have tailor-made courses for students who are going to France or any French-speaking country. It's called Survival Kit course. As the name suggests, Survival Kit. It trains you really well to start conversations in French. You can read signboards and instructions when you are out there in a big city called Paris. Um, you can, they train you with various things such as, let's say, for example, ordering in a restaurant and how will you understand the other person. So such real life situations are, you get trained of that. And it also leaves you curious to learn the language further. Now, coming to post-study visas. So France offers a 2-year stay-back option for those students who want to study abroad. So these are, it's a stay-back option mainly, which is also termed as job search visa. So you can stay back for 2 years to find jobs. So the moment you get a contract-based job, you can change your student visa to work visa and start working there. Also, French visa is a Schengen visa because France is part of the European Union. It is part of the Schengen zone. For those who do not know about Schengen zone is a bunch of 26 countries across Europe. So from day one, you get a Schengen visa, which allows you to travel to these 26 countries. You are not limited or restricted to a French region only. You can travel to other countries like Germany, Italy, Spain, Portugal, Netherlands, Belgium, and the list continues. Uh, Hence, it opens a wide possibility of finding internships and jobs as well. So let's say if a student, if you're looking at studying in France and if you get an internship in Germany and finally find a job in Denmark, that could be possible with this Schengen mobility. And we have two kinds of student visas. One is a short-term student visa, which generally students don't go for. Usually students go for a long-term student visa, which is of more than 90 days. Even if your course is more than 1 year of duration, you get a 1 year visa and it is subject to renewal in France for the next year, right? We also offer an alumni visa for those students who have finished their studies in France. You can apply for a 5 year multiple entry visa, including your spouse and children. Um, it is mainly given to you with an objective to travel in the Schengen zone or to, let's say, if you want to start a business between India and France, this type of visa would be really helpful. Yeah, we spoke about the 5 year alumni visa and the 2 year stay back visa, which you get after completion of your master's programs. Um, I just would like to take this opportunity to introduce you to Choose France Tour. Now, this is one of the biggest events that we have, that the French Embassy in India organizes. Choose France Tour welcomes nearly 40, more than 40 universities and institutes to India, so that our students here can take the opportunity to meet the representatives directly. Yeah, you can have a one-on-one discussion. Unfortunately, this year we are going to do this virtually. So we have an application in place where the students can register and get in touch with, we have video chat rooms allocated to different institutes where you can join and talk to the representative one-on-one. So the dates would be 6th and 7th of November. You can, you know, if you're interested, you're most welcome. I think that's all from my side. And I think we can take the questions now.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Sujit, for sharing the information regarding what are the scholarship options and why does it make a lot of sense to hashtag choose France. I'll just take up a few audience questions as this is what we follow in all our sessions. So, someone wants to know that what is the level of French that is needed for, say, the French medium courses, like the degrees that are not taught in English?
So generally, there's a wide range of courses available in English, spread across different domains. But those who really want to do a French taught program, at least they would require a B2 level of French.
Okay.
Yeah, and to complete a B2 level, so they have a specific framework which starts from A1 level. All European languages have this framework. They start from A1 level, which is the beginner's level, then move on to the intermediate levels of A2, B1, B2. Then they have advanced levels like C1 and C2 as well. But B2 is the benchmark that usually universities ask for if they want to join, French taught programs.
Right, right. And also, what any specific scholarships that are there for those who are aiming to pursue undergraduate studies?
For the moment, undergraduate programs, we have scholarships offered by different institutes. And so these are institutional in nature. So every institute would introduce their own undergrad scholarships. which usually are merit based. But yeah, we do not have minimum caps. We actually see, I mean, you'll find this approach across different universities, institutes, and even the government agencies which offer scholarships. That today we do not believe, we believe in exceptions. We do not believe in setting minimum caps and, restricting students from applying to these scholarships. Right.
Right.
So, but yeah, at undergrad level, we have
Right.
scholarships offered only by various institutes.
Right. Great. So, and also apart from the scholarships, any specific universities that you can name that are, say, the top ranked or most preferred, say, for the sciences, engineering related courses, and again, similarly for business related, management related courses, some names of
Yeah.
universities that you can share so that we are more
Sure.
familiar?
Sure. I can mention a few popular ones, few famous names. Starting from management schools, we have, so France houses institutes such as HEC Paris or INSEAD. INSEAD is, it's one of the best B schools that we have in the world. So they constantly change positions as far as Financial Times ranking is concerned. The top three positions, it shares top three positions with Harvard and Stanford Business School. Yeah. So usually that is the thing. And then we have institutes such as HEC Paris, ESSEC Business School, EDEC Business School. These business schools are triple crowned. That means they have the three topmost accreditations of business schools in the world. They do have that. They ask for good GRE and GMAT scores. I mean, just to give you an idea, HEC would not consider profiles below a GMAT score of 700. It's less likely.
Okay. Right.
So these are some big names in management. We have institutes such as ISAE Super Aero for aeronautical studies, based out of Toulouse. Now, Toulouse is known as the aviation town of France. It houses Airbus. So Airbus has its headquarters in Toulouse, and also other companies such as Dassault Systems. Dassault Systems is again an aviation company which looks after the maintenance of Rafale fighter jets, which have been delivered to India. So they are very much based in Pune as well.
Right.
Right. So these are companies which come from Toulouse. So and they are affiliated with ISA, Super Aero. Then we have institutes like ENAC, École Nationale de Aviation Civile, Civil Aviation National Institute. Um,
Right.
so these are the things.
Right. Right.
And there is one more. We have big names such as Le Cordon Bleu and Vatel for hospitality management. Also, France houses institutes such as International Fashion Academy and Instituto Marangoni for fashion studies. So these are big names in fashion studies as well.
Right, right. And also, what is, if you can shed some more light on the timeline, like what key deadlines or dates should one keep in mind, especially when they are applying for, say, undergrad courses to a university in France?
Right. So our biggest intake is happens in September. It's the fall intake. So most of our undergrad courses start in September, and generally, if we talk about the timeline to apply to public universities, generally you have to apply a year earlier. It's way earlier than the intake. So generally students start their application process. They would start now in November and it will go on till March in order for their September 2021 intake. I'm talking about public universities. Private ones do continue giving admissions until July in different phases, of course.
Right, right. Great. So I think that helps a lot to those who are keeping this timeline and deadlines in mind. One more question is that any specific English language courses for computer science major at the undergrad level that you can share more about?
I did not understand the question, Prachi. English language course for computer science specialists?
I Yes, I mean the major is computer science, but the medium of instruction we are looking at, say, English. So specific universities that offer such kind of computer science majors that are completely taught in
So
English, not in French.
absolutely, yes. We see, as I mentioned, we have over 1,600 programs fully taught in English across various disciplines. So there would, when it comes to computer science, we have dedicated institutes for computer science for IT. We have an institute which only offers programs on AI. We have an institute which is a data science institute offering courses in big data and data science, data architecture and all. These are programs fully taught in English. So, you know, we have an array of courses to offer that.
Right. And any specific university or a school that you would name is one of the topmost and most reputed for an undergrad computer science?
See, we have a bunch of schools like, we have INSA. INSA is, again, an engineering institute. It's like IITs or NITs in India, right? So it's a chain of few institutes. We have 5 INSAs across France. Then we have Polytechnic institutes across France, which are really good. National Polytechnic institutes, they are almost in every big city of France. So they offer good programs in different fields of engineering. We have specialized schools such as DSTI, Data Science Technological Institute. We have specialized schools for artificial intelligence courses. Even at undergrad level, we have courses for aeronautical studies as well, and space studies. So, I mean, it's pretty diverse. Like we have a lot of options to provide to students that ways.
Right. Right. Thank you for that. Before I conclude the session, I'll just take up one last question from the audience. Any top ranked universities that you would like to specifically name and share more about? Say, for someone who's interested in the sciences, it could be engineering, it could be research related. Any top ranked universities that the names one should keep in mind when they aim at applying?
Yeah, sure. As I mentioned, like, we have INSAS, INSA is a chain of institutes for engineering. We have um, ENSAS, École Nationale Supérieure d'Architecture for Architectural Studies. We have, ISA, Supaero for, they have 2 campuses, one in Toulouse and one in Nantes, in the west of France. They are known for their aerospace and aeronautical studies. We have DSTI, which is for data science courses. We have Polytechnical, National Polytechnical Institute of Paris, which offers different engineering programs. Again, one of the top-notch schools in Paris and in Europe. Then we have, those who are interested in animation and, graphic designing. We have dedicated schools for that. Um, we have schools like SPEOs for photography. So they offer bachelor and master level programs in photography. Um, and we have fashion schools such as IFA. We have fashion schools such as we have hospitality schools such as Le Cordon Bleu, which has I think campuses across the world. Um, we have big names like HEC, ESSEC, EDEC for when it comes to management schools. So there's a lot to say and less time actually.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Yes. Sure, I think that would help. Also, one more quick question: what is the rough percentage of students that are non-EU, like they're not from the region, at the undergrad level, particularly? So, what's like the composition like? What is the diversity like? If we talk about at an undergrad level, when the
Okay.
students are really young. Yeah.
I'll answer the question with an example. I'll give you an example of Rennes School of Business. It's a prominent business school based out of Rennes, the city of Rennes, which is located towards west of France, pretty near to Paris, like 2 hours from Paris. Um, if you go to that institute, you would find at a time you would find students from 130 countries on the campus. Not just that, the faculties come from 32 different countries. So if we are talking about the diversity, and if we are talking about the multicultural environment that a student would get, it is, no doubt they would get a perfectly multicultural environment where they can make the best out of it. We tend to tell Indian students a lot that please do not stay in within the Indian group of students only. Please interact with others. They also design, in their classrooms, they also design the courses in such a way that they make groups of different students of different ethnicity. Like, Indians would have to work together with Chinese students or African students or South American students. So there's a perfect exchange of different cultures that is happening. Yeah. So I hope
Right.
this answers your question. So this is just an example, but we have many such schools which
Right.
have which
Absolutely. I think
receive.
this gives a good idea.
Yeah. Hello. Yeah. Prachi, just to
Yeah.
add,
Your
France
voice
is
got
new.
cracked in between.
Can you hear me now? Just to add,
Yes, yes, I can.
France is a new study destination in India to Indian students. I mean, not many Indian students know about it yet, uh, but it is getting popular day by
Absolutely.
day. But when it comes to an international scale or at the world scale, France takes the fourth position in terms of number of students being invited to France. Like, number of international students going to France, if we see the statistics of UN, uh, France stands fourth after US, UK, and Australia.
Right.
Yeah, so that
Correct.
enables us to
Absolutely. And no
maintain
wonder with
this
all the
multicultural environment.
right. Correct. I think this gives a very good idea to the people who are listening, because that kind of diversity is very important. If one is looking to study abroad, especially in a new, different country, it's really important that they get the best out of that whole multicultural experience that the country has to offer. So, absolutely.
Absolutely, yes.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sujit. Yes, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for joining and sharing insights with us. So, to all the friends in the audience, I hope you all got great insights with regards to why choose France as your preferred study destination, what is the process like, and how can Campus France aid you in this entire process. For any more questions, you can
Absolutely, yes.
always write to us at goals@myedugoals.com. And please stay tuned and stay updated with EduGoals on our social media pages on Facebook and Instagram that go by the name of EduGoals. Once again, thank you, Mr. Sujit, and thank you to everyone for joining today. Wishing you all a very great Sunday. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prachi, for for inviting me to this webinar, and I hope students have gotten their
Yes.
all the information about France, and
Yes.
I'm sure they, if they have any further questions, they would come to EduGoals. And thank you
Absolutely.
once again for having me. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a great day, Mr. Sujit.
You,
Thank you so
you too.
much.
You too.
Yes.